Opinions you hear are that of the host and callers and do not necessarily reflect the opinion of 102.5 The Bone.
Are you ready? All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show. Start the show.
And now, Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, JoJo, Lisa, and JJ. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Time for Life Out Loud with Miggs and Swig.
Let's get the show on the road.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to an Easter edition of the Miggs and Swig show. I guess we're kind of down to a ghost crew today, or I guess we can call it a heathen crew. Those who aren't celebrating Easter with their families, or
not yet,
or a heathen crew, or a recovering Jew crew. So that it was Easter, and we were thinking about who was going to do the show, and
I like to think that we're a dedicated crew.
Dedicated. That's okay. So we don't have Dawn and we don't have Lisa, but we do have myself, Ben Swig. We have JoJo.
Hello.
As always, we have JJ with her great insight, and Jamie's here. Hi, Jamie.
Yeah, I'm kind of forced to be here.
Yeah, he has no choice.
Somebody's got to run the station, whether you guys are here or not.
Right, and we also have Jamie's daughter in the back.
And her name is?
Her name is Catherine, but she also goes by Katie.
Good job.
So hi, Katie.
Hi, Katie.
She's in the back. She didn't want to be on the radio.
Don't blame her. And Hoppy's here.
And Hoppy's here.
Tending the phone boards.
Damn right I am. Thanks, guys.
He doesn't miss. Those two are forced to be here. But when it came time to deciding who was going to be on, I was the obvious choice because I'm not religious and I'm a recovering Jew. Or you know what? I guess a better word for it is I'm a Jew by convenience growing up. So
yes.
So I got my bar mitzvah, right? Because that was convenient because I got a lot of gifts.
Prizes.
When it came time to taking time off school for the high holidays, Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, I, of course, took that opportunity. So I'm a Jew by convenience. And then growing up, Hanukkah, of course.
Yes.
We got presents. So I was a Jew during that time. But anyways.
Good. I'm glad.
We're here.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're being Jewish today.
And then you two, I mean, I don't know, heathens, whatever. I'll just call you heathens. So
I asked my parents to say a prayer for me at church.
So thank you for joining us on Easter. If you're on your way to church or coming back from church or whatever you're doing on Easter, if you're just done with your Easter egg hunt, welcome. Thank you for listening. I'm tired.
Oh my God, me too.
I'm really, really tired. So I got to tell you.
We had a busy week.
I got to tell you. I finally did it. I finally did it. I finally pulled the trigger and bought an RV.
And not just like a little Winnebago RV that, you can just take on a jaunt from here to Tallahassee or something.
Or a fifth wheel or something you could tow.
No.
This is a full-on 44-foot.
44 feet. How are you able to drive that? Do you have to have a certain license?
Nope, not when it's your own personal RV. When it's your own personal property, you don't have to have a commercial driving license.
I would just think it would be for the sheer fact of knowing how to drive something that large.
No, I mean, it's funny because I got started with the RV. Asher and my son Asher, who's 12, last summer in August, we rented an RV. And we rented a 42-foot diesel pusher. And I was really worried about being able to drive it. And
right.
So I went to the rental place, and the guy gave me a 30-minute walkthrough and handed me the keys and said, be on your way. And
I just don't understand that for turning and changing lanes and parking it.
It's really not that difficult, I have to tell you. It's really, for A to B from the freeway, it's not that hard, okay? Now, when you're talking about driving in cities and when I pulled it into the house to try to get it around.
You pulled it in your driveway?
It's parked in my driveway right now until I can get it over to storage. But I have to tell you, man.
Like the Griswolds.
It is... I never thought. First of all, I got to preface it by saying I hate driving. So this drive, so I bought it because I got the best deal.
Yeah.
I drove it up. I flew up to Minnesota, and not only Minnesota, but Garfield, Minnesota. If you buy a computer, just Google Garfield, Minnesota. It is about 100 miles away from the Canadian border. So it's not Minneapolis.
No.
It's not St. Paul. It is way up there.
So did you fly? You can't fly into there, I presume.
No, I had to fly into Minneapolis. They came. The dealer came pick me up.
How far of a drive is that?
Like 2 hours, 2:20.
That you had to sit in this car with this person?
Yeah, he was. Let me tell you something. And this is the one thing. Like, salt of the earth. The guy who picked us up had to be the nicest guy in the history of the world.
Really?
I mean, he was just. I can't even explain it.
Now, did he have the full-on Minnesota accent?
It's full on.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God.
You betcha.
I would have been
betcha.
talking to him like that too.
Yeah, he had the full-on Minnesota accent. So my friend Dominic, who, bless his heart, he took the bullet and came up there with me. I mean, look, I consider myself a pretty good friend to people. I don't know if I would have done what he did. And he came up with me, and he drove back with me, and without it, I was going to do it alone. And
that would have been
right, but thank God he did it. But let me tell you something. So, in the whole RV thing, there's so much more than just when I had rented it. Right. So, we're up in the what is it called? Northeast, or it's not the Northeast. It's the
it's the Midwest.
Midwest.
Yeah,
Midwest.
still.
Okay, so let's just call it the Midwest. So obviously, it's a big RV community up there in Minnesota and
Minnesota,
Tennessee, and all those states. But one thing that I failed to realize, that it's not spring up there. Although it was the first day of spring, it wasn't spring.
Spring
Not
and
even
sprung up
close.
there.
I mean, it was snowing in Wisconsin. It was about 27 when we got to Garfield. And so I had planned out my route back. I'd planned out 2 different campsites we were going to stop at, spend the night. And one of them was Wisconsin. And I called the to make a reservation a couple days before we left, and the girl laughed at me. Because it's closed. It's closed until May, until the snow melts and people can actually camp there. So we drove down. Our first stop was in Springfield, Illinois, and we pulled off, and I looked for a Walmart parking lot. I looked for a Costco parking lot, and we parked that thing right in Costco.
And
spend the night. And opened up one slide and spend the night and just hitting the road, because this thing is self-sustaining.
So you did bring provisions like blankets and pillows and stuff.
Oh yeah, my wife packed me all the linens.
Of course she did.
Yeah, with linens and pillows and the whole deal. So let me tell you, the most amazing thing about it, like I said, I hate driving, and I think this was probably about 5 times the 1,700 miles it took to get home. Was probably 5 times longer than I've ever driven before.
It's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
I would actually like to hear if there's any RV horror stories, like just crazy gone wrong, or any advice that anybody has for Ben.
I would love advice. So if you're an RVer out there, give me some advice.
Call the Miggs and Swig Show, 800-771-1025 or 727-579-1025. RV... I feel like you're going to need...
It's a whole...
You should have consulted with JJ
I should have, because
before.
she's toured with Miggs, obviously, all over the country in a bus.
She knew the lay of the land
she did.
before.
She knew that Flying J travel centers have all RV dumps and all that. And I had none of that idea, and none of that going into it. But, the RV has a name. He's part of the family.
I love it.
His name is Cletus the RV.
Okay.
And if you'd like, you can follow Cletus the RV on Instagram. He's got his own account.
This is going to be fun.
It's at Cletus the RV, 1 E, and you can check him out. He's a beautiful coach.
I feel like I do want to experience a road trip with you.
Bring it.
I just don't know how far, how long I would like to be confined.
Well, I think what we
you would
do,
probably want to kill me before I wanted to kill you.
The one thing that Dominic said, who came with me, I mean, obviously I'm driving, so
the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not going to let him. This is my new baby.
Okay.
So I drove. It probably was behind the wheel about 25 hours, 26 hours, but it doesn't feel like that, because when you're in this RV, the window is huge. Okay, you have huge side windows, so you have almost, not 360, but 180-degree views, and it's wide open, and you're on top of the road, and it just doesn't feel like time goes by really, really quickly, and it didn't feel that bad. But he was saying, he didn't like to drive either, but if he wanted to, he could get up, he could go in the fridge, get something to eat, he could go in the back, he could go to the bathroom, he could go in the back, he could take a nap, watch TV, we have satellite. So he was like, this is great. This is like being at home. Yeah, we put on a movie, we watched the NC2A basketball tournament, so
you're like a pig in poop.
I'm an RVer. I do it. Cletus and me and my family gonna hit the road this summer.
Could you live in one?
Absolutely.
Forever?
No question. You have everything you need. You have a dishwasher. You have a
and
washer driver. You have a washer dryer.
You do have a driver.
You have a fridge. You have a cooktop. You have a convection oven.
But I mean the size of it.
It's great.
Okay.
So,
I mean, 44 feet. This is about the size of my apartment, so.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
So
I'm looking at this thing right now on Instagram, and this thing is gorgeous.
Oh my God.
It's no joke.
It
Oh my
is.
God, it's huge.
It's huge.
Beautiful. And
Cletus, the RV.
Can I move in with you?
You can come on.
Oh my God.
And it's so cute because I brought Izzy. I mean, I'm so excited about this thing, and my wife is just beyond the fact that I'm so excited. Like last night, it's parked in the driveway. I just got home from a 2.5 day trip.
Did you sleep in it last night?
No, I didn't sleep in it.
Oh.
But I had a friend over. We opened up those slides. We turned on the satellite, and we watched the NCAA tournament. It was like a man cave out in front of my house. We went in the RV.
You should just leave it there.
Well, the pollen is a little rough, but
true. And your new house.
My new house doesn't have room.
No.
So it's unbelievable.
Well, I'm excited. I'm excited to go on a ride. And see it. I think maybe we should do a mobile Miggs and Swig show from it.
We could do that.
And just drive around and I think that would be a lot of fun. And congratulations on Cletus.
Thank you. We're very excited
for you.
It's my fourth kid. So,
and your sweet little wife for being so great about it. And
yeah,
she's
great. And I think she's gonna have fun. She's she's warming up to it. I mean, I think once she got in it and saw that it was not, it's fully livable and it's just a little smaller than your house, but everything you need is there. Everything you need.
Huh.
So, anyways, if you, if you're listening to the Miggs and Swig show, and if you have an RV or been RVing, we would love to hear your stories or any advice you have for me on my new vehicle. Because let me tell you something. I've spent 6 hours, 6, 7, maybe 8 hours with the guy doing a walkthrough on this thing. There are so many, and that's what scares me most about the RV, is there are so many things you need to do just before you take off or you go to, you got to put the slides in, you got to lock all the doors, you got to lock the fridge, you got to, and so my ADD obviously isn't really, it's not really tuned to do those kinds of things. So what I'm really worried about, and it'll happen eventually, is that I will drive off with the slide open or something's going to happen. Just because there's about 20.
Make a checklist.
You might be able to if it's not all the way in, or there's just so many things. So that's what I'm gonna do: make a checklist and go through it, because I will definitely forget something.
Check your tires.
Check your tires. That's another big one.
Miggs, we blew through in 1 year 14 tires.
Yeah, because the tires on mine.
We were hauling equipment, so it's a little bit different.
Heavier.
But
yeah, I mean, there's a weight chart if you are towing a car, what PSI your tires need to be on, and there's 6 tires on mine, and what am I saying? The tires, if they go flat, they blow. They're $1,000 a piece. Yeah. So I got to check the tire pressure.
Keep it clean. I want to say Keith was on the phone for a while, but we were chatting. So happy Easter to Keith. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate that very much. So now, when are you going to take this on your first official road trip? Do you know?
Well, the first official one is planned for this summer.
Okay.
And we're going to leave in June, and my son is playing a baseball tournament up in Cooperstown, which is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Cooperstown is where the MLB Hall of Fame is. And we're going to drive up there, and then we're going to spend a little time toting around up in the Northeast, maybe go up to Canada, go see Mount Rushmore, maybe see Washington, D.C., and then we're going to make our way over. I think the tournament ends like the 17th, so we're going to spend about 9 days and then head over to Montana for the 4th of July. And then come.
How long will that take you to drive from, let's say, Washington, D.C.?
As long as I want. I mean, if I did it straight, it would probably take 2 days.
Okay.
But I want to do what I wasn't able to do on this last trip. Like we drove, you talk about Wisconsin. We drove through Wisconsin, and every stop there was cheese, or we drove through the Chattanooga Mountains, and there were pull off and viewing area,
driving.
and we just kept driving.
Yeah.
So we didn't get the opportunity to really stop and see, any of the sites.
Oh, you got to make.
So we're gonna make it slow. We're gonna stop by Mount Rushmore, spend a day in Mount Rushmore, driving around. We're gonna go to Canada, Niagara Falls, and so it takes as long as you want it to take.
Okay.
So, but we're just gonna plan it so it takes so we get there to Montana about the 30th.
The radio show will be interesting.
Oh yeah.
As you travel.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, This
We'll be
is
back
the
every
Miggs and
Sunday.
Swig Show. And today on the show, we have, as always, The Juice with JoJo.
Yes.
Getting swiggy with it. And Tighten Up Tampa with JJ. And we also have later coming up a very special guest. Now, I'm a little confused about this guest, okay? Because this guest is top brass here at Cox
So I've
Media.
been told.
I mean, a big deal here at Cox Media.
Yeah.
Allison Lopez is stopping by to join us. We were in a meeting, and she said, I'd love to be on the air. And so when you have the executives say something like that, back of my mind's going,
Yeah.
why does she want to be on this show? Is she coming in as a Trojan horse?
Are we going to get yelled at?
Right, are we going to get yelled at? Are we doing something wrong, or she just wants to make sure? So anyways, she's going to be joining us. We're really excited, with a little hesitancy. And as always, you have to tune to the Miggs and Swig Show, talking life out loud, easing yourself into this Easter Sunday. If you have something that you want to share, 1-800-771-1025 is the number. We will be right back after these messages. Welcome back, everybody, to the Miggs and Swig Show here on Easter Sunday. So we're on the air here on Easter. If you're listening to us, thank you. Or if you're not listening to us and you're on Bone TV, you're watching us, and you can probably see the circles under JoJo and my eyes.
Oh my
JoJo, why are you so tired?
Oh my God, I've been in a nightmare war with my landlord. Oh, I hate my earphones.
They hate you right back, by the way.
Yeah, so she wouldn't paint the place. So I've been painting, which I had a lot of help from a couple of my girlfriends on Friday. But then yesterday,
party.
Yesterday is no easy feat. But yesterday I went back and spent 12 hours by myself painting.
Now, did you do the tape? You know, tape off the baseboards and do all that?
No, because that was going to take too long to do. But what I did have, and I'm going to get some for your ex-wife, Nikki, because it is a lifesaver. I found through a friend of mine at Lowe's who helps me with all my paint colors. It's called Crud Cutter. And if you don't have it, everybody should have it under their sink somewhere, because once I discovered that it took the paint right off of the floor, then I gave 0 F's about screwing anything up or being, whatever, careful about painting all my trim. I literally just came right off. So
yeah, you got to be careful about painting your trim.
Yes.
And you have to be careful about waxing your trim too,
yes.
as well. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. But you want to keep your trim.
Yeah, you want to keep it clean.
Right. So it's looking so much better, but it was just...
Well, proud of you. That's impressive.
I know. I have all the paint on my nails that I need to...
Are you done?
No. I'll have some late nights this week, because we have the foundation gala, which the DeBartolo Family Foundation Gala is this Saturday. And we're very excited. We have a crazy number of celebrities this year, which is
it's crazy. And
awesome.
And not only that, but we will be doing the show live. We will not be on the air next weekend on Sunday.
Not on Sunday.
We will be doing the show from the red carpet next week from 5 to 7 here on the Bone.
Yeah, we'll be live from the Marriott
We'll be
Waterside.
interviewing everybody from Paul Anka to
Jerry
Rice.
George Wendt is coming this year.
Wendt. So the list is on and on.
Yeah, so it's going to be super fun. But so it'll be a crazy week for me, helping Melissa just try to make sure all our ducks in a row, and then trying to jaunt over to St. Pete to finish painting my place.
There you go. Good times. So let's go to trending topics today. This
Here we
week.
go.
We've got some big news.
Now, what's trending?
Here's where things get a little crazy.
So I guess we'll start off on Monday. But this actually went through the whole week. And it's, once again, our friend Donald Trump and Ted Cruz. And I'll tell you what. It is simply the best drama on TV right now. And it has gone to the world of absurdity. Right? Absurdity. So now, if you haven't followed the news, on Monday, an attack ad came out against Donald Trump by Ted Cruz's, and I'm using air quotes, super PAC, that showed a nude picture of Donald Trump's wife, Melania Trump, and I said that right.
You
Thank
sure
you very
did.
Much. And said something like, "This is."
Here we go.
We've got some big news.
Now,
There we go.
Sorry.
We got some big news.
Still big news.
Basically saying this with a caption. It was a photo of her nude photo shoot from GQ 16 years ago, and then it had said a caption of "This is your next first lady," which I thought was great. I mean,
Sure, why not?
She's hot. Why not?
And apparently uber smart.
Yeah, and then apparently uber smart. So Donald tweeted something that said, "Lying Ted Cruz just used a picture of Melania Trump from a GQ shoot in his ad. Be careful, lying Ted, or I will spill the beans on your wife." Ted Cruz responded by a pic of your wife, not from us. Donald, if you try to hack tidy, you're more than a coward than I thought. So, back and forth again about your wives.
And they're 12.
What's going to come next? Your mama jokes?
Probably.
Like, your mama is so fat, Ted?
Yeah.
I mean, where are we going to go next? So we're attacking each other's wives. And then on, I guess it was Friday. All of a sudden, timely, I guess you could say, article came out in the Inquirer, high-class magazine.
Always accurate.
Spilling the beans on Ted Cruz's alleged affairs.
Okay.
Ted Cruz said that Donald Trump leaked the story. Donald Trump adamantly denies it. Now, let me tell you. So,
jeez, oh, man.
Here's what I think about it. Donald Trump's a smart guy.
Yeah.
All right? I mean, regardless of what you think about him, he's no dumb.
No.
And I would think, from a 2 + 2 = 4 standpoint, if Donald Trump was going to leak a story, okay?
Correct.
Would he go to the National Enquirer?
I doubt it.
I doubt it, too. I mean, look, the National Enquirer comes out, what, weekly or monthly, whatever it does?
Weekly, I think.
It's weekly.
It's weekly. Okay. They've probably gotten 2 stories right.
Oh, I don't even know.
John Edwards, they leaked that story about his affair.
Yeah.
And Tiger Woods. Every other thing.
So maybe they're good with their affairs.
Right. Okay. But so everything else, every week from the time the thing started is filled with such absurdity and nonsense. Why would he go to a magazine or with such lack of credibility?
If anything, that's really not his style because he's got something. He's going to stand in front of a podium and get some TV.
That's what I was going to say. He'll say it himself.
Absolutely.
And he owns up to what one thing about it, he does kind of own up to his stuff.
Yeah. And then later in the day, I mean, this is where it reaches the tipping point of absurdity.
It hasn't reached it yet?
Well, I guess you're right. But Donald Trump tweeted a meme with, of course, a gorgeous picture of Melania.
Close.
Close?
Yeah. Melania.
And a very, very ugly picture of Heidi Cruz. And Heidi Cruz isn't ugly looking.
No, they just didn't get one that was all photoshopped and tricked out.
And the meme said, no need to, quote, spill the beans, unquote. These images are worth 1,000 words.
My wife's hotter than your wife. My wife's hotter than your wife.
This is a potential presidential. I mean, this is our potential president. I don't, if he wins, who knows? But just the fact that this is our potential, throwing out memes on his Instagram.
Welcome to 2016. Could you imagine if JFK and I mean, like, it's just so weird to me that this is even happening.
I mean, neither one of them are very good looking, so they both have very beautiful wives.
They have outkicked their coverage by far. I mean,
that's what we're taking from this.
Donald Trump's done it 3 times.
Yeah.
I mean, he has outkicked his coverage 3 times.
Oh my God, it's so it's just it's
beyond
comedic.
absurd. It's comedic, and that's why I'm saying.
But it's sad that you're right. These are men who are in the running to be the potential president of the United States.
One of the 2 are going to be the Republican national candidate. I just can't. I mean, every week there's something new, and I hate to get caught up on it, but really, like I said, it's the best comedy and drama on TV. And earlier in the show, the first segment, we were talking about my RV and trip across Cletus.
Come on, Cletus.
You can follow him at Cletus the RV.
Hercules.
Cletus the RV on Instagram. But we were talking about what I'm doing this summer, and part of it is going to go see Mount Rushmore. And we had a caller call in. Steve, you want to talk about the Mount Rushmore?
It's being replaced?
Yeah. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, Steve?
Happy Easter.
Happy
Easter.
On your new RV.
Thank you very much.
You're going to have a great time with it.
Do you RV, Steve?
Yeah, I do RV.
My
any
guy.
Advice for Swig?
What I called in for is you had mentioned that you wanted to go to Mount Rushmore.
I did.
And the news, I don't know, you haven't heard the news.
What is it?
But Donald Trump bought Mount Rushmore for $1.3 billion. And
is this a true story?
Is this real?
He's already taken George Washington off of Mount Rushmore.
Oh, my God.
And they're already chiseling Donald Trump.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
He'd make his own.
He'd probably take them all off.
I was going to say he would make his own.
The park is closed for the summer. You're going to have to make a detour.
A detour around Mount Rushmore. Well, if Donald Trump
because it's going to be Donald Trump head, and next to him, it's going to be Donald Trump's member.
Oh my God!
We found a photo of this actually online.
They might have to take two heads.
Yeah,
for the member.
Now, do you think that
two heads for one?
Do you think that he will chisel in his small hands? He will probably keep that out of it, right? Because he's very sensitive towards his small hands, there, Steve.
Well, he sure does use them a lot.
So, Steve, getting back to the RV, you have any advice?
All I got to say is I do have some advice.
Yeah, please.
Keep some Rid-X for your bathroom because the septic, you have to empty it, and if you're traveling with a few people, you have to use the lavatory.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of poop. So the Rid-X will biodegrade, and it will also keep. There is actually, if you go to the accessory store, there's some chemicals that you can buy that will keep the odor eliminated throughout the RV.
Already bought it, and
so
it's just
you don't. Oh, you already.
Yeah,
got
it's the stuff that you dump it in after you dump the black tank, which is the poop tank. Oh. You put in a bottle of this, and
you just don't poop in there.
Well, you have to poop in there. Sometimes you. It's like asking somebody not to poop in their hose.
Oh my God, I have a poop story for you, Steve. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
for
much,
calling.
Steve. Appreciate it. Enjoy your Easter.
Yeah.
Did you hear the story about the girl who went on a date with this guy and went back to his place and had to use the bathroom?
No.
Okay, so she did, and she goes in there. Well, of course, it wouldn't flush. So her poop is
worst nightmare
floating, and she doesn't know what to do. And she's texting her sister, telling her sister and asking her sister what she should do.
Is it first date?
I don't know if it was the first or one of. Yeah,
right.
It was a new relationship or whatever. This girl ended up sticking her hand in the toilet, taking her poop out and wrapping it up and putting it in her purse, and proceeded to go back out into the living room. I'm pretty sure I need to reread it, but I'm pretty sure she ended up having like a makeout session or whatever, and then he had to go to the bathroom. And so when he went, she was like, oh, thank God. But then it flushed. So she was like, maybe I should excuse myself again and try and get rid of the poop.
So she put it back in.
So she put it back in and flushed the poop down.
And it went down.
But she was texting her sister while all this was going on. So the tweets or the texts went live. She tweeted them out. And she's a really pretty girl. It's so funny. But I don't know that I would go to that extreme. I feel like I'd be like, listen, I clogged your toilet. Oh
my God!
I'll never see you again. I know, but
well, it depends. How hot was the guy?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
Or how hot was the girl? I mean,
she's pretty.
Yeah, there's some things you can give a pass to. It's funny.
I just don't know if I could stick my hand in there and grab my own poop out.
I'm gonna catch a lot of. We have to go to commercial. John, we'll get back to you.
Yeah, hang on, John.
John, we'll get back to you after the commercial. Jojo.
Oh, that's me.
That's you, Jojo.
Sorry. So now it's starting to get warm outside.
Uh-huh.
But not for me because my South Tampa dermatology friends Botoxed my armpits a couple weeks ago, and I'm feeling fresh as a daisy. And there's so many different services that they offer. Lisa does tattoo removal and says it's because it's normally the most painful thing, worse than getting a tattoo. but hers, she said that they're so great with her. So do yourself a favor, call South Tampa Dermatology. It's 813-872-9551, or you can go to stderm.com, tell them Miggs and Swig sent you, and they'll do everything to make sure that you are well taken care of. And where you make your first 3 appointments for the procedure, if you want laser tattoo removal, the 4th one is on them. So South Tampa Dermatology, stderm.com, or 813-872-9551. They are awesome. And tell them Miggs and Swig sent you. Coming up on The Juice, is Katie Holmes pregnant with Jamie Foxx's baby? You're going to have to stay tuned to find out. We'll be back right after this.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome back. This is JoJo here on the Miggs and Swig Show. Thank you for joining us this Easter Sunday. Oh, God, sorry, I can't hear myself. It's so weird. Okay.
We can hear you just fine, believe me.
Okay. Real quick before we went to break, we were talking...
Trump.
Yes, of course. What else? And John, we have John on the line who actually waited on Donald back in the 80s.
Yes, good morning. Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter, John.
Yeah, I love the show. I'm glad you're here. Yeah, this is John at hashtag more Miggs and Swig. I'm the one who's been vying for you guys to get a 4-hour show, and it's kind of hard to cheer for you when you guys only all show up together. All 4 or 5 of you are only together like once every month or so. Everybody's so busy.
Yeah.
But I love the show.
Thank you, John.
Thank you.
I don't want to beat a dead horse. Everybody talks about Trump, but here's a story nobody's going to hear, and I haven't told this in a while, but I worked in New York waiting tables back in 85, 86, and people in Tampa might not know, but back then Trump was already famous in New York. Him and Leona Helmsley, they were big. To make a long story real short, I waited on him one night at, I don't know if you're familiar with South Street Seaport in Manhattan. He came in with 6 women, and they were all having a good time. They actually had a bottle of champagne in their hands as they walked in, and I'm sure they were doing other things too. But when they came in, they sat down at my table, and he wasn't really polite. He wasn't impolite. He was boisterous, but you could tell he respected me for doing my job. Is that kind of hard to explain?
Yeah.
And he whipped out right out of his front pocket there, inside of his vest, $250 in a banknote. It was all 5s wrapped in $250, and he slapped that down on the table, and all the women were listening. They were laughing. He says, $250, and he goes, "What's your name?" I told him, "John." He goes, "Okay, John, here's your effing tip. Every time you F up," of course you didn't say it like that, "every time you F up, I'm taking back $5. I was like, "Okay, sir," and I acted like I didn't know his name. I already knew who he was. He looked just the same then as he does now, just less wrinkles.
So, John, how much did you end up walking? How many times did you F up, and how much did you walk away with?
$235. The next 2-3 times I came to the table, they took $5, and I knew every time I show up to the table, he's going to take $5 back. So I just snatched the $235, put it in my pocket, and I go, "I'll tell you what, if I mess up again, you let me know, and I'll owe you." So I thanked him.
That's a great.
Yes, sorry. I'm not saying I like the guy or whatever, but that was cool. That was a cool move. That was funny.
That's great. That's a great story. And $235 in 1980s.
Walkaway, yeah.
In the 1980s was a good price. Well, John, thank you for calling. And you know, it's funny because I actually met Donald Trump. My friend Rondé and I were playing up at Trump National in New York, and he was there. And we were eating lunch, and he came over, and Rondé Barber, who played for the Bucks, and I think Donald actually thought he was Tiki. But because they're twins. But he came over, he sat down with us, and bought us drinks, and I actually ended up buying our lunch. And nice guy. I mean, very personable, very nice, and so But that's doesn't mean that he should be president. I mean,
no.
So as far as a person and interacting with him, he was a great guy.
But the leader of the free world?
Not so much. Are you ready to get juice?
You know it.
And now,
talking about the juice with JoJo.
On a story and a story on a mind.
Rolling down the screen, searching headlines, talking about the juice. Here's JoJo.
I think that will always be my favorite song.
It's the best.
Michael, every time I hear it, I legitimately love it and want to dance to
it. It's great. It's been our show. I mean, even when we were on AM radio, it's been your theme
I love
song.
it.
It's great. Can't go wrong.
Speaking of juice, I'm really excited because you just told me that Miss Allison Lopez, who will be joining us in just a little bit here, is bringing some juice with some champagne. For some mimosas on this Easter Sunday. I am very excited and in much need of a cocktail right now. So, Allison, thank you, and we will see you soon. You're not going to want to miss that. That's coming up in the 11 o'clock hour. But right now, I want to talk about this rumor that's been going on. Well, not this particular one, but the rumor of Jamie Foxx and Katie Holmes being a couple. And they keep disputing it. But to me, where there's smoke, there's fire. So I feel like why not just come out and say it? Now the new rumor is that Katie Holmes is 3 months pregnant with Jamie's child. But again, it's just a rumor unless...
Where's your source? Is this coming from the Enquirer?
It is not from the National Enquirer. It's from all over the internet, but it's not from...
Oh, so it's on the internet. It's got to be true.
Of course it does. Some sad news this week, though, was the passing of, excuse me, Gary Shandling at the age of 60. Oh, my God. Sorry. And although he's only been dead for, a couple of days now, TMZ, who is a trusted source for me, they've been told that his death certificate has not been signed. They learned that his doctor refused to do so until some more tests were ran because he said he hadn't seen him in over a year, so he wanted to be certain of what the causes were. Initially, it was said that he had died from a massive heart attack, so they just want to...
Which is, by the way, our Thursday trending topic.
Thursday.
Oh.
There you go. It was very, very
Didn't
big
see that
news.
on the list, but there it is. Gary Shandling, who was known for so many things, but mostly for the...
Gary Shandling show.
No, the Larry Sanders show.
Larry Sanders show. Didn't he have the Gary Shandling show?
Well, yeah, talk show.
That was first.
Right, that was first.
But the Larry Sanders show was on HBO, correct? From like 19...
Yeah, it ran for a while.
Yeah.
It was a big hit.
It was a big hit, but Gary Shandling's show got him started.
And just a great comedian all the way around.
So they're not sure. So by not signing the death certificate, they're not sure of the cause of death. Is that? I mean, he obviously dead.
Well, his primary physician has repeated it. They said refused to sign it because he had no idea how or why he died. The doctor said he hadn't seen Shandling in more than a year, and he knew that Gary was in good health. Although if he hadn't seen him in a year, his health could have declined. So he could have died from a heart attack. But so I know that they're just still running some further
the blood work,
toxicology,
and
yeah.
Are they performing an autopsy? Do you know?
I believe that's what they're going to be doing. The coroner's investigators have already taken blood work from the ER where he was pronounced deceased, and then they've also subpoenaed records from his doctor. So
now that throws me off because he was Jewish, right?
Yeah, he was.
So don't they have to
put him in the ground quick?
They got to put him in the next day.
We bury him quick, the next day.
So how are they doing the autopsy? If he's
maybe from his blood work, I don't know.
Or maybe the autopsy trumps the religion. I don't know.
No,
I mean,
it can't.
If
it was like
some
foul play, then yeah, I can understand that. But otherwise, they're not allowed to just keep the body indefinitely just till
that's true. But I would imagine I'm not a lawyer.
Is there a law against
that?
If
there's a lawyer out there who know anything, 1-800-771-1025, the Miggs and Swig show. I would imagine that if you need to in order to bury somebody, you would need a signed death certificate. I mean, so that might be it. That's the holdup. So, I mean, I don't know, but if there's somebody who knows about death and burying and
religion,
trumping religion,
I mean, I would think that would outweigh the religious.
Yeah. There's no death certificate signed, so legally, I guess he's not dead. But there is along those lines. I don't mean to trump. I got to come up with a different word. I don't mean to step on your
my tootsies
on your juice, but there was another sad death this week for me.
I was just going to mention that.
The 5-foot assassin?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you do it. It's your juice.
You wanted to.
One of my favorite.
I know.
One of my favorites.
From A Tribe Called Quest.
Fife Dog
passed away. Yesterday, his family released a statement saying that the rapper did die from diabetes.
Yeah, and if you know anything about Tribe Called Quest, the reason that Tribe actually broke up was because of his diabetes, and he just couldn't tour anymore. I'm sure there was some other stuff. But there's a great documentary. I don't remember the name of it, but it was on Tribe Called Quest, and for me, it was the Beastie Boys and Tribe Called Quest growing up not growing up, but in college in the 90s. And, it was just those two. And we lost Ad Rock about 4 or 5 years ago from the Beastie Boys and now Fife. And He was
only 45.
He was only 45, yeah, and Ad Rock was around the same age.
He was doing. I mean, he had health problems due to his diabetes, but in 2008 he did have a kidney transplant, and he was, for a while doing much better. But I guess that wasn't.
If you, I just looked it up. It's called Beats, Rhymes, and Life: The Travels of a Tribe Called Quest. It is a wonderful documentary, and even if you're not a hip hop Tribe fan, it's very, very interesting. But towards the end of, I guess, Tribe Called Quest, his diabetes really got in the way, and he was unable to tour.
And all that. Takes a toll on your body.
So R.I.P. Gary Shandling and Phife Dawg, the 5-foot assassin. You will be missed.
Super sad. In other news, Batman vs. Superman hit the box office on Thursday.
I heard it hit the box office with a big.
Well,
it's gonna break records, so it's not that bad.
So it was the biggest. Okay, so it garnered between Thursday and Friday, and I'm assuming Saturday. This was from today, this article, but it was $27.7 million is what they garnered from preview screenings, which beat the previous title holder for the biggest selling on Easter weekend, which was held by The Furious 7, which took in $15.8 million. However, still the biggest Thursday opener ever is Star Wars, which was last December with $57 million.
Wow.
So more than double.
It's funny because we during my RV trip the last couple of days, we had plenty of stuff to talk about. And one of the things we were talking about was this movie. And if you go to Rotten Tomato, which is a pretty good source for...
Yeah, they're pretty legit.
They're pretty legit because not only do they... reviewers, people who know movies review them, but also audience reviews them too. And for the most part, they pretty much match up, right? As far as their scale, it's on 100%, 100 obviously being a phenomenal movie. And Dominic, my friend, was saying how bad reviews this Batman vs. Superman got. And I looked on Rotten Tomato. He looked because I was driving. But 33% of professional reviewers, that's what the average was. Okay.
Oh, out of 100 is what
out of 100,
gave it?
it's bombed.
Which means
bombed.
one out of 3 liked it.
1 out of 3 liked it.
So 2 out of 3 said it
You're a math
stunk.
genius there, Jane.
Thank you.
33%. So, but you go to the reviewers, and it was 75%. So there's such a discrepancy there. I mean, I guess because it was.
But with that one, I think it's because it's so early in the movie. That's all the fanboys who just don't care if it's good or not.
That's a good point. So the people who went to pre-screening, waiting in line, and then the larger discussion we had is this is Warner Brothers, okay? They're producers. They're sinking, however many hundreds of millions of dollars. Probably.
I think this one I read $400 million total.
They're putting $400 million in it. They've every day see dailies, cuts, everything. They see the final product, right? How do you not know that what you're putting out is just a crappy movie?
They may not care because so many of them look at movies like this as it's just about the toys.
Right.
It's all about the merchandising, and they don't care about the final product of the film. They're like, we just need to set this up so we can sell toys and T-shirts and games and all that, and because that's where they're going to make the money back. They actually don't even care about the box office receipts. It's about all the merchandising.
Yeah, because I was reading an article before that came out. The reviews stunk or whatever, and they were talking about how Warner Brothers is planning. They're a public company, so they got to plan out. They're planning on this being the next $1 billion franchise, and to come out of the gates with kind of I guess it's not a bomb because it made a lot of money, but I kind of knew it in the beginning when they announced that Ben Affleck was going to be Batman. I think that was the worst casting call in the history of the world. I don't know what you think.
I don't know. I mean, I
think Jesse Eisenberg as the
Lex
Luthor.
Yeah, it was
I don't know. I mean, I guess I don't like to listen to other people's
like to take
thoughts.
your own.
Yeah, I just like to go. That's why I like to see movies initially, because then I can form my own opinion without having to hear everybody else's. Because I think everybody has different tastes in what they are expecting and wanting from a movie or, a TV show or whatever it might be. And I know we have to go to break, so sorry about your Batman, Superman. This is far more important, and while I've enjoyed discussions with you, because this is the most you've ever talked during the juice, we're going to stop that right there because it was announced that Miley Cyrus will be joining The Voice as not just a mentor, which is what's happening beginning tomorrow, but she'll be a judge.
Who's she taking?
Next season. Gwen Stefani will not be returning as a judge.
Same with Alicia Keys.
And thank you.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. And Alicia Keys. So Pharrell will not be back. So no Shakira. She wasn't asked to come back, and then Gwen will not be there. But Alicia Keys, which I'm excited for her, I think she'll be awesome, and Miley Cyrus on The Voice next season.
Wow.
And that's the juice with JoJo.
There you go. And we have to go to commercial. You haven't listened to the Miggs and Swig show. It's time to take a break. And I just want to let you know that if you have back or chronic neck pain, as do I, my surgery is coming up 2 weeks, next week. I don't know, April 4th at the Laser Spine Institute right here in Tampa Bay. They've already helped more than 60,000 patients as a leader in minimally invasive spine surgery, with the highest patient satisfaction rates around at about 97%. Do yourself a favor. Do yourself a favor and call the Laser Spine Institute at 1-844-899-BACK and schedule a no-cost MRI and find relief from your chronic neck or back pain. Tell them that the Miggs and Swig show sent you, and you will get that free MRI. We will be right back after these messages.
All right, everybody.
Pay attention.
It starts here.
Now that we're all prepared, let's start the show.
The conversation is about to get louder. You're listening to Miggs and Swig. Don Miggs, Ben Swig, JoJo, Lisa, and JJ. From music to marriage, from politics to parenting, from dating to deep thoughts and sports. Get ready for Miggs and Swig. Life out loud.
Let's get the show on the road.
Welcome back, everybody, to our second hour here on Easter Sunday of the
just
Miggs
like
and
that, an hour goes by.
Flies by. What in the first hour we had? We talked about, of course, our favorite Donald Trump. We talked about.
I thought you were going to say you, because we talked about you for most of it.
We did, but I figured we'd. I didn't want to lead too much. That was my next part, and of course we talked about me.
Yeah.
I ain't much, but I'm all I think about. And we talked about Cletus, my new RV.
Which is pretty badass, I'm not going to lie.
It's pretty badass. You can follow Cletus at Cletus the RV on Instagram. And my road trip from Minnesota.
In
Wisconsin.
You went through all those places.
I went through Wisconsin. I went through Illinois. I went through Kentucky.
Any cheese.
I went through Kentucky, Tennessee, Georgia, and then Florida. So I went through 5 or 6 states.
And you didn't hit anybody?
I didn't. No accidents, knock on wood, yet.
Good.
I guess there are 2 types of RVers, those who have gotten in accidents and those who have not gotten in accidents yet. So,
oh my God.
Anyways, as promised, here on the show, we have from Cox Media, Top Brass.
Right.
Top Brass. Now, Allison Lopez is here with us. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Hey, how are you?
So, we were talking earlier, and Allison, you were in a meeting with Dawn, said you'd love to come on, and so we just have to ask: are you a Trojan horse? Are we in trouble? Are we? Why?
I really think you're overthinking this.
Okay, we're overthinking it.
Totally overthinking this.
Okay,
yeah.
She just wanted to be in our presence.
There you go, because we're just a little, small Sunday talk show, and we have Top Brass here coming, sitting in to make.
Thank you.
She's a fan. That's sweet.
I'm a fan.
I was, but I'm really a fan now because she comes bearing gifts.
What kind of gifts did she bring?
A mimosa gift for this Easter Sunday.
Oh, definitely.
So
I am the buzz fairy.
JoJo and Allison are sipping on mimosas. I unfortunately am not able to sip on mimosas because
Do you want some juice?
I have lost that privilege about 21 years ago because I drank and used drugs too many times in my youth.
Yeah.
So now I don't do it. But you guys enjoy watching people drink, and I will live vicariously
You still make
through
a fool of yourself sober, so it doesn't matter anyway.
Yeah. Can you imagine if I was drunk?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, natural highs are way more fun.
Yeah, they're way more fun. I don't
That's
wake
what
up with a
said.
hangover either.
Well, that's the thing. I always I never understood when people are, oh my God, I'm gonna go out tonight. I'm gonna get so drunk. Like
I
I
say
do.
in that voice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Like, oh my God, it's going to be the best night ever. I never had a night where I was like, I'm going to go out and get completely hammered to where I throw up and feel like crap all night and the next day and the next day.
Well, we never plan that anyways, but
no, that's what
happens.
I'm saying. It'll happen, but I don't plan. I feel like a lot of people plan to go out and have nights like that.
Right.
And that's just not fun for me. I'd rather have a little buzz and feel good. And
we've talked about it. You don't go over that line a lot.
Ever.
So you've never woken up with a hangover?
Well, I wake up tired.
Okay.
Or wondering exactly what did happen last night?
No.
See, funny because on my RV trip, obviously plenty of time to talk, and we were talking about, and the guy I was with is also sober. And I was saying one of the greatest, it's just the little things, and one of the greatest things that in the past 22 years, I haven't woken up with a hangover. I haven't woken up and I haven't thought, oh my God, what did I do last night? First and foremost, because that's usually was the first thought.
Yeah.
And the other thought is, how am I going to get this cotton out of my mouth? Yeah, because it is stuck. I feel like somebody's just in the middle of the night stuck.
I mean, I shouldn't say that I've not been hungover because I've definitely drank more than I should have, or I mixed too much stuff, or that sort of thing. But I've never not remembered. I've never not been in control of myself. I've never not known when to stop. It's just how
you get to that point. It's
always
a feeling.
been, yeah.
All of a sudden,
I'm like,
it's just,
I know this isn't going to end good.
Unless you get roofied, which by Chris,
oh my God, yes, one time.
Anyways, on that note,
that's
I
not
think
why people aren't having sex with me.
I think it's time to get a little swiggy with it.
Getting swiggy with it. Getting swiggy with it. Getting swiggy with it.
So, we have another trending topic, and this one is Tuesday. Oh man, unfortunately, I hate talking about this, but it seems to be a way too often occurrence here in this world. The terrorist attack in Brussels, I think it was 133 people so far have lost their lives, and many, many others injured. And we're not talking about scrapes and bumps or broken bones injured, but some serious injuries. And it's scary, and obviously it's been covered on the news, and it's been regurgitated and everything. And
it was two brothers, correct?
It was two brothers and a third. The third was actually carrying the bomb that was going to cause the most damage, that didn't detonate. And he got away. Okay. So there were two bombs. Two of them were in the airport, and then the other one was in the train station. And like I said, one of them didn't detonate, but the one that didn't detonate actually had the biggest amount of explosives and would have caused the amount of damage. So I guess in some sense, they were a little lucky.
Right.
There was also a fourth one, too, that the cab drivers are what led them to the place where these guys lived. And because he remembers dropping him off after seeing the photo, and he said there was a fourth suitcase that they couldn't fit into the cab that they had to leave behind, and police found that had the bombs in it too.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, the thing about it is, for me, is 30 people lost their lives, numerous others in Paris. But there's so much more than just the attack, right? I mean, if it was one person at this point, I mean, yes, people lose their life, but it brings so much fear into people's lives. I mean, what do you think about, would you get on a plane and go to Europe right now?
No.
I mean, so there's so many ripple effects that this is causing through, to the economy.
It's not even that. I mean, it's you almost don't want to go anywhere. I mean, we were talking earlier about the 19-year-old from Utah, Mason Wells, who was crossing the finish line when the Boston Marathon bombing happened.
Yeah, and he was
and then he was in Paris when the attacks on Paris happened.
Crazy.
And he was just in Brussels when this happened. He's still in intensive care, but he survived.
This guy needs to not leave his house.
Ever.
And
nobody should go anywhere with him. I mean, 3 attacks in like the last year and a half.
Crazy.
I mean,
So I guess for me, there's no easy, as an adult, there's no real easy way to wrap my head around terrorism.
It's hard.
You know, it's.
But you don't want to live in fear.
Right. You don't want to live in fear, but to try to figure out this action, it's just hard to get my head around it.
So how do you?
But unfortunately,
and you're an adult.
I'm an adult.
How do you talk to your children? How do you make your kids who might not necessarily even know it's happening or only know a fluffed version of, you know what I mean, in their minds, for them to be careful and to pay attention to people and to know their surroundings.
Right. And what they need to know is, unfortunately, obviously not right, wrong, or indifferent, but absolutely wrong, that this is the world we live in today. Sad. You know, and at some point this conversation has to be brought to kids. And Allison, you're a parent. How old are your kids?
Well, I have 5.
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
Yeah, I have 5.
5 kids.
Yeah, I have, but 2 of them are adults already. 24, getting ready to be 25 this month.
I mean, you look like you're
21.
11.
Oh, well.
Not that young. But yeah, I mean, you don't look old enough to have children that age.
Yeah, I do. I had my oldest when I was 19.
Okay.
So, and he's now 24, getting ready to turn 25. But I also have a 21-year-old, and I have a 14-year-old. I have a 12-year-old and an 11-year-old.
Good for you.
So, I mean, I think that it's always important as being a parent, and, Allison, I think you can attest to this, is that, we open up dialogue with our kids.
You should.
And the more dialogue we can open, obviously, 5 years old is a little different conversation than you have with a 14-year-old. But have you had conversations with your kids about terrorism and what's going on in the world today? I mean, they're a little older, so.
I guess the approach I take is, if they come to me, then we'll have that conversation. I don't really bring that conversation up to them, because I don't want to destroy, their chance of seeing our world as a beautiful place still, because they're going to be our future leaders. They're going to be the people that are running this when we're gone. And there's always going to be something in the background that's negative. But if they've got to tackle that in their adulthood, I want them to know what they're fighting for. So they have to have seen the joy and seen the beauty in the way things are supposed to be. And that's kind of my opinion on it. But if they came to me and asked me, then I'd definitely sit down and let's look into this together. Let's research this together, and let's just talk about it.
Right. Because I mean, it's one of those things that as parents, there's sort of some sensitive discussions, whether it's, I remember having to read Asher, my son, who's 12, a book about where we came from and sort of talking about the birds and the bees.
By the way, the book was from like 1975.
It was the same book that my parents read me.
Oh, wow.
It's called.
It was a comfortable conversation.
It's not a comfortable conversation, and there are numerous ones like that are, I think, as important as a parent to talk to your kids about, because eventually they're going to figure it out. Right. And to just sweep it under the rug.
Well, and not just that. I mean, for me, I don't have children yet, but for me, there's so much out there now with the internet and with, exposure to everything, that I would want my child to hear it from me and the truth, as opposed to either some outlandish notion of what something is, or, a whatever on the internet, like a National Enquirer, a fake, whatever.
Right.
Like, I would want them to know it's a penis and a vagina, like the real words and the way things work, or whether it's something greater with the country and terrorism. Like, I would want them to know from me and what it really is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, ignorance and sweeping on the rug, whatever it is, whether it's terrorism, whether it's sex,
they're going to find out anyway.
They're going to find out, and I think the more that you can have that, at least that feeling where they feel comfortable to come to talk to you, I think,
absolutely.
That's the key to it. So no matter what the topic is, but we have to go to commercial right now. Well, that was a quick little segment.
Yeah, is that me already?
That's you, JoJo.
Oh, I don't even know where we're at. Okay.
One mimosa.
Sorry, I was no. I just wasn't paying attention. I'm sitting here Googling new cars because I'm kind of in the need for one. Mine's taken a beating through all this moving. So Of course, I called my friends at Any Car USA, and since they've become a show sponsor, I'm always trying to look and see what's new and try something different. I've been a big fan of a black car, but now they have this gunmetal gray color, which is kind of awesome.
I like that color too.
Know. So, and they for sure are always doing the best to find me any car, obviously, at an affordable price. So Any Car USA, they definitely make my decision easy. Visit anycarusa.com. Do yourself a favor. Tell them Miggs and Swig sent you. They'll take great care of you. Ask for Derek. He's awesome. We're going to take a quick break. Then we're going to come back.
And talk about sex.
Which is my favorite. We'll be back right after this on Miggs and Swig.
Nice little easy music. Welcome back to the Miggs and Swig show. We have no Lisa. We have no Don Miggs. We have JoJo, as always here, never taking a day off, not for Easter, not for anything. Committed. JJ's over there. Social media, fact-checking. Hi, JJ. You want to say just something once?
Hey.
And we have from the top brass. The top brass, the suit from Cox Media is with us, Allison Lopez. And Allison and JoJo are taking little sips of mimosa here to celebrate
I'm out,
Easter.
actually.
You're out. Well, you just had a commercial.
Well,
maybe your husband will fill you up. He's Oscar's here, and Oscar, she needs a refill. So next week, I just want to let everybody know as a reminder that we will not be on the air at our normal time, unfortunately. But even better, you can still find us on Saturday night from 5 to 7. We will be broadcasting live from the DeBartolo Family Foundation All-Star Gala charity event. And we'll be interviewing everybody from Paul Anka to Jerry Rice to Ronnie Lott to Vincent Jackson. Is he going to be there?
Oh my God, these earphones. I swear to God, I need to get a new thing.
Vincent Jackson gonna be there? I just sign language for her. Anyway.
I don't know.
Let's just say he's going to be there.
Rondé Barber will be there.
Rondé
George
Barber.
Wendt, Brett Butler. We have an all-star lineup
Well, I
this
would
year.
hope, because it is called the All-Star Gala.
Jaron Lowenstein.
So we will be broadcasting live. Thank you to The Bone for allowing us to do that. Allison. You're,
Yeah, it's kind of been a tradition
Decision
for the
maker.
last few years for us, and it's a lot of fun just to be able to have people like that you'll never ever get to meet, to circulate through and chat with you for a few minutes. So make sure you study and do your homework so you know who everybody is.
I did, and I will. So we've talked about Brussels. We've talked about some pretty downer topics, but
Ben,
you know what? I think I want to talk about sex.
Let's do it. Let's talk about sex, baby. It's like my favorite topic.
I'm sure it is. Dirty JoJo. So, I came across this article, JoJo. I want you to take the lead on this. And the name of the topic, it's from the Huffington Post. And if you're married or in a relationship, as you know, sometimes sex gets a little...
It tends to wane.
That's a very nice way of doing it.
Thank you.
And a little
They
inconsistent.
wean off your peen.
But here at the Miggs... JoJo.
I'm funny today.
That was pretty good.
Thank
that
you for my mimosa.
That mimosa's... That mimosa's kicking in a little bit. But here, if you're a man out there, this might help you. 7 reasons your wife isn't interested in having sex with you. So, JoJo.
Your penis is probably too small.
Oh, but don't you think she would
I'm
already
just
know
kidding.
that?
I'm just kidding.
She would already probably know
I thought
that.
we moved on from Donald Trump.
Ooh.
Nice one.
So,
Nice one.
Yes.
JoJo, take us through the 7 reasons.
So the first one that they list says that she is dissatisfied with the relationship, which would make total sense.
Total sense. Because
I feel like that would be the first thing that you would want to look at.
But a woman is more. I'm filled with women. Jamie, you got to back me up here. Because I think a woman is tied more when it comes to sex, more with the emotional side of it.
Yeah.
Guys can turn that off, and
Well, and I feel like you can turn it on whenever. Like last night, we were talking about how I was painting my new place. I mean, when I got home, my hands hurt so bad, just like they had cramped from holding it, and my feet were swollen. Like I was so exhausted that I couldn't have mustered. And let me tell you, I am a huge fan, and
I'm a big fan.
But I don't think that I could have even
and very
rolled
active.
over and just play dead
Right.
at that point. I was so it does. I feel like for women, the psychological part of it and the emotion, like there has to be some sort of
Right. Whereas guys
As
in the,
the
same
wind
situation
blows.
would be like,
Correct.
let's go.
Right. If I had a hard day at work, long day at work, I mean, 1,700-mile drive, and I got home late and I was tired. But if the wind had blown the wrong way, I'd been Nadia.
I see Hoppy behind you wanting to interject here.
Well, it's weird. I just broke up with my good old girlfriend of
Hallelujah.
7 weeks.
Tell me how
7 weeks.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, 7 weeks.
Not 7 years, 7 weeks. And it's weird how I wanted to have sex all the time, and she has like more emotions towards it. And it was my first girlfriend, so it sort of reminded me that us dudes have the tea and we just want to have sex all the time, and girls were like, we have to earn it.
Earn it.
So that's what I learned in life.
How old are you?
22.
Okay, stay single. Don't get
Is
involved
that
in a
why you
relationship.
broke up with her?
I broke up with her because just radio was in the way, and I don't want to get into it, but she didn't like the quote-unquote fame I have, so I don't know.
Oh my goodness.
Well, stay
it's hard to
single.
deal
You're
with.
22. Use that fame as much as you can.
Jojo, maybe that's our problem too. Our fame is getting in the way of our sexual.
Oh yeah, I don't.
Whatever you need to tell yourself.
I don't think
Whatever
that's
you
it.
need to
How
tell yourself.
I just so many things I want to say to that. We're just gonna go to number 2.
Number 2.
Is that sex may be painful for her. So in this article,
Because
it says
you're so famous.
It says, with age comes wisdom, but also considerably more hiccups in the bedroom. If sex painful or uncomfortable for your wife, it makes sense that intimacy has gotten the short end of the stick. Both women and men experience physical and hormonal fluctuations. So for women, fluctuations might impact their sexual drive with things like their physical readiness, changes in moisture, and simply just them feeling sexy. So that will make and that's true. I mean, because we get in our own heads about how we look, and that affects how we feel and the kind of mood that we're in to do it.
Allison?
A little uncomfortable with this conversation because my husband's sitting. We have a great sex life. So
good job, Oscar.
Oscar's pretending
Way
that
to
he's not
get
paying
it.
attention. By the way, he's on his
He
phone.
is.
He's,
He is.
he's pretending he's not paying attention.
He's totally paying attention. But I don't know. I mean, I read a survey once that said that the average American couple has sex twice a week, and that is what the standard is for a healthy sex life. Although I'm sure that probably calculates in people that are in new relationships that do it 5 times
Right.
a day,
Yeah.
and people that have been married for 40 years that do it 5 times a year. But the average is, so you know what? Even whenever I'm not really feeling good or feeling up to it, I still try to make sure that I,
Yes.
because I don't want him going somewhere else.
100.
And
And
my man.
I say the
you
same
know?
thing.
So-
Yes. Well, and
Well-
Lisa and Dawn, they did their little challenge.
They take scrupulous notes
Well, yes.
to the amount of time, and they're very open about how many times they have sex. But they take notes. So at the end of the year they can tally
Yeah.
how many times they've had sex for the year. I'll tell you on number 2, sex may be painful for. I don't think my wife has a problem with that. Because there's nothing painful about me having sex with my wife. Because I think that would have to be with size, and size is not a problem. Or is a problem.
Not necessarily, but I see what you're saying. But pain, not necessarily just that.
Okay. So number 3
is you're letting too long of a period of time go by without some sort of touching interaction, some sort of affection toward each other.
And that goes, I think, back to the emotional part of it too.
Yes, and that does go both ways. So we may feel as a female or that you're not being affectionate enough, with us.
That's
so
the
that
point,
makes
I think.
us not want to be with you. But at the same time, women shouldn't always wait for the men.
To get
Yeah,
to cuddle
I
or
think
whatever.
when you're in that, especially if you're in a long-term or a committed relationship, that it's just everything should always be equal parts.
It's funny because
in my opinion,
I'm not a very cuddler and all that, and so, but I have this little thing with Nadia, when I want to have relations.
You poke her in the butt.
No, but not quite the butt.
Oh.
Not quite the butt, but I give her a little tap on the shoulder.
Oh my God. Yo, woman, let's go.
And I mean, we have a very.
I'm sure that turns her on.
Exactly. I mean, we have a very open, not open sexually, but open She communicates very well, and she'll say like, it would be nice
Yeah.
if instead of just tapping me on the shoulder, maybe one night that we're not having sex, you put your arm around me or whatever. And that just gets back to the point, men and myself, which I'm the worst at, but women tie sex more emotionally than men do. And I don't mean to make a general sweeping
but it doesn't have to be anything profound, it doesn't. It can be a handwritten note that you leave in her purse and she finds when she gets to work, or whatever it is,
right.
or you stopping and grabbing dinner on the way home so she doesn't have to cook it.
Right.
And,
and the best thing about my wife, and agree, is that for me, when I do it, I'm amazed because it didn't take much.
It really does.
What she's asking isn't taking much. It's like getting her.
It's just knowing that she is a forethought and not an afterthought. So just giving a little bit
Words of wisdom by JoJo.
I really should drink mimosas more often.
You should. Getting a little loose in here. What's number 4, JoJo?
The fourth one is that she is, as I was last night, utterly exhausted. And I think as long as that is not a frequent excuse. But see, that's where it comes into, if you're helping with those little things and doing little things for her, then she has time. So it's a team effort. If you stop and grab dinner, that's one less thing that she has to worry about. And have a little bit more time.
If he washes dishes.
Yes.
Maybe if he's vacuuming the floor when you get home from work.
Yes.
Major turn on.
Correct. Like that little.
See, that's crazy.
Hint.
No, it's so. It just.
But it makes a difference.
When we talk about there was that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, and it's so true because women just look at everything so much differently than we do. The fact that if Nadia came home and I was doing the dishes or cleaning the floor, that would be a turn on to her.
Yes.
But for me, I don't compute with that. That would have to be a conscious, I gotta do this, for her or whatever. And the other thing about exhausted is that's right. Number 4 is right where we are right now.
Yeah.
Because she just had a baby 4 months ago, and I can.
And you have a 3-year-old and a 12-year-old.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
And so
now's the time to start doing dishes.
Yeah, exactly. It's funny because. Bring back the RV, but I brought the RV home last night, and it traveled 1,700 miles. Cletus the RV.
At Cletus the RV on Instagram.
On Instagram, you can follow Cletus. He has his own Instagram account. But so I started cleaning it, and because we had taken a trip and it was messy and it needed to be cleaned, and Nadia was just sitting there going, I can't believe this. I haven't seen this guy pick up a shop vac or a vacuum or a broom she was
point proven.
So, but I didn't get any last night. So
yeah, because it was your toy. Of course, you're going to clean it and take care of it.
I didn't get any because I was using it as a man cave outside watching the final. I was watching the Final Four of The Friend who came over in the RV.
You were with your friend and not your wife.
Right.
You should have taken her in the RV for a hot minute. Number 5 is that she's grown a little bored with you.
Because you're in the RV too much.
Why is everyone looking at me? Jamie's married.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
I think. It's work. True. Relationship is a work, and you've got to constantly be doing things
differently. You got to switch it up.
Change it up.
And that's why in my experience, when we're traveling in a hotel, there's something really sexy about somewhere different, right? Because obviously majority of your time is spent in bed, or in your own bed.
Yeah.
But when we're in a different hotel or a different place, and it sort of mixes it up a little bit.
Especially with kids, because it's right. Because if you're single, then you can go anywhere in the house. But if you've got kids, it's gonna be in the bedroom every time because obviously you don't want to be just out and about in case you get walked in on, which has happened. Not mentioning anybody in the room right now. So
earmuffs.
Yeah.
And I think another in conjunction with this, and also putting her as a forethought would be the kids' schedule for the most part. And I'm looking at you because this is about you today. So maybe arranging somebody to be there, even if it's 45 minutes, and you go to Four Rivers, just the two of you, and grab a bite to eat and come home, and it's for whatever, just a quick amount of time. But the fact that you are thinking ahead and wanting to do something for her to have that little moment.
All right, let's get to 6 and 7 because we only have a minute.
Sex has become routine. I think that goes back to changing it up, trying new things. I have several Kama Sutra books if anybody is in the market for a new one. Or number 7 is that she's just not feeling emotionally connected, which...
It goes back to number 1.
Yeah, so they all kind of correlate, and I think it's just a matter of communicating and trying to.
Okay, so here's what I'm going to do when I get home, because all this sex talk has got me a little.
No more tapping her on the shoulder.
I'm not going to tap her on the shoulder. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go rent a bunny suit tonight for Easter in celebration of Easter.
Yes.
And I'm going to put out my bunny suit.
You
and
just
I'm
have
bring,
to, don't you just pull the pockets out of your pants?
Yep, exactly. And I'm going to bring a vacuum, and I'm going to go and vacuum the house in my bunny suit. And
really
then I am going to go destroy my wife.
If that doesn't work, I tell you what, I don't know what will.
You have a tune in the Miggs and Swig show here. We are always on. We are only on once a week on the air, but we are always connected on social media, everything at migsandswig.com. Let's follow the question all week. And we will be right back after these messages. Our last segment.
That's
so we'll be
it.
back. You have a tune in the Miggs and Swig show. Welcome back to our final segment here on Easter Sunday. In the studio, we are Sans, the DeBartolo Miggs crew. Lisa and Don are spending time with their kids here on Easter. But we do have JoJo.
Hello.
We have JJ.
Hello.
And we have Allison Lopez from Cox Media, the big wig, the executive. Who came down to make
such a big head.
to make sure that we do not do anything wrong.
That is so not why I'm here.
Okay, good. So you say, Alice. You can never trust a suit. But she did bring mimosas.
I did.
And JoJo and Allison are sipping on mimosas and getting a little loosey, maybe. You feeling?
I think I get more brilliant the more that I drink.
So maybe we should just have you drink every show.
I should.
There you go.
I will be this Saturday for sure. I'm going to need a drink. Since we'll be doing it live from the DeBartolo Family Foundation Gala from 5 to 7. So we won't be on Sunday from 10 to 12, but instead you can hear us Saturday night live from the red carpet.
Live from the red carpet.
A lot of fun celebrities there, so you're not
But
gonna
we will
miss
not
it.
be asking anybody what they're wearing tonight. Isn't that the normal thing on the red carpet? Like the Oscar, like, what are you wearing? Who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing?
Who are you wearing?
Yes, and they only ask women. They never ask men. So now they don't want to be asked it anymore.
We'll ask much more interesting
Heck yeah.
conversations. So we did have a trending topic on Monday. President Obama visited Cuba. First American sitting president to visit the island of Cuba.
Which that I didn't realize, and I thought was just crazy.
I don't want to, and if there are fact checkers out there, I wonder if it's since the Cuban Missile Crisis.
It had to be, because we know that Teddy Roosevelt went to Cuba.
But was he sitting president?
I believe so.
Okay, so
fact checker.
Anyways, here let's redo that.
She's not paying attention.
Rewind. It was the first American sitting president to visit since the Cuban Missile Crisis. And he did give a speech, and we have part of that speech right here.
I have come here to bury the last remnant of the Cold War in the Americas. Here's my message to the Cuban government and the Cuban people. The ideals that are the starting point for every revolution, America's revolution, Cuba's revolution, the liberation movements around the world, those ideals find their truest expression, I believe, in democracy.
So that was just a highlight of a very, very, as Obama, love him, hate him, whatever, gave a wonderful speech. And that's what he does. I mean, he's a phenomenal, probably the best president we've ever had as far as speech giving goes.
Yeah, he's astounding.
And so he visited Cuba. He went to a baseball game, the Tampa Bay Rays, played an exhibition there.
And they won.
And we're ending the trade embargo with Cuba. And, there are a lot of people who think different things about it. One thing to realize, and I'm not an economist, but one thing to keep in mind if you are against this Cuban thing is we're talking years from now.
Right.
Because now Cuba, if you wanted to do a trade with Cuba, you couldn't do trade with Cuba because they have no credit. Their money's worthless. So in order to trade, the nature of trade is you need something of value. I need something of value.
What do they have of value at the moment?
Right. I mean, I've heard if you go to Cuba, I haven't been. I'm dying to go. But if you go to Cuba, it's like they put a time freeze on the 1950s. I mean, all the cars are classics, and
right.
It's like they've frozen time.
It's a lock.
It's
pretty much.
Yeah.
We should have our good friend Enrique Crespo come in because he is Cuban and his mom was actually. They had a crazy, wealthy life and did amazing things down there. His mom was part of that and founded a lot of business for Cubans, but they were forced out and had to leave everything behind.
Right.
So it's just a different perspective.
And my thought on it is, it's about time. The Cuban Missile Crisis was 50 years ago or whatever it was, and Cuba for Florida. If this trade eventually gets going and import, export, and travel and all kinds of things, is going to be huge for the Florida, especially Tampa in particular, Miami. I mean, we're talking, what is it, a 30-minute flight or something? I mean, it's
90 miles off our coast.
90 miles off the coast.
It's a blip.
You know, and it's going to be economic windfall for Florida especially. So I don't know, if you guys have any thoughts on it or what you think.
Well, particularly, I think economically, it is going to be good because their currency is so devalued compared to ours. We can bring in all these things that they make over there, which they do. Obviously, they make the cigars.
Mm-hmm.
All the Cuban food was phenomenal. We can bring that over and we can buy it at a cheap rate, which will bolster their economy. And it's a symbiotic relationship. Same thing we've done with every other country out there. Mm-hmm. And it's going to work for both countries. It should have been lifted years ago.
Right.
I agree.
And it shouldn't have taken this long, and it's going to be just absolutely beneficial to everybody around.
Right, and the thing is, like, on my RV trip, I had on Cletus,
which you cannot drive to Cuba.
But I was.
Oh my God! What if it turned into like a hovercraft?
Oh, chitty bing bing.
One of the things,
go out
obviously, when you drive, and during the break, Allison was talking about her 17-hour drive to South Carolina, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, when you're on the road, you have a lot of time to think. And I was just, as a business person, thinking about ways to get involved in some sort of thing with Cuba because it's going to be so big. And I called my cousin Rick, who is
Springfield?
No, Rick Swig, who has been to Cuba probably about 40 times and knows a lot about it. And I was talking to him and asking him if he had any ideas. And he said, right now, even if you wanted to do, if they lifted the trade embargo and you were able to do, import export, you couldn't open a bank account in the United States and deposit money from Cuba. He said it's almost like if I owned a marijuana dispensary in Colorado, and it's legal to smoke. It's not only medicinal, it's legal to smoke, but you can't deposit the money in a federal bank because it's illegal.
Right.
So there are a lot of hurdles that need to go on. This is political right now. Eventually it might open up, but it's a big time. It's a big time. It was a big move for Obama.
Yeah.
And I guess during break somebody said that Donald Trump agrees that it should be lifted. So there's bipartisan support, I guess.
Oh my God. I just hate to even give him an ounce of support.
Right. So we are going to
tighten this up a little bit.
Yeah, talk about moving from Cuba to our wonderful state and city of Tampa. We're going to tighten it up a little bit.
Tighten up, Tampa, what is wrong with you? Tighten up, Tampa, what is wrong with you?
I don't know why nobody lets me sing on these little jingles.
Go ahead, sing. No, you asked for it. You've had
I'm
3 mimosas in you. Go ahead.
Give her 2 more mimosas.
Go
She'll start
ahead.
singing.
Now you have to.
No.
You asked. Why doesn't
I didn't write one yet. I'm just saying. I would need to write a jingle.
Why doesn't anybody let me sing that? Isn't that what she said?
Absolutely.
Sing a jingle.
So sing a jingle.
I need to write one first.
To, so.
I'm going to work on it.
Okay.
I'll sing it at the gala.
Live on air?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to hold you to that.
JJ.
Live at the gala.
Live at the gala. What's wrong with you?
Hashtag tighten up Tampa.
What do you got for us, JJ?
All right, there's the rise of the synthetic high zombies in Tampa. Tampa police say more people than ever before are overdosing on the synthetic marijuana known as spice.
Still?
Yep. Police say in Tampa say that more than ever before people are overdosing on the drug, as the investigators in Clearwater say they've received dozens of calls from people who have called to be rushed to the hospital because of the suspected spice use. They are slumped over in parks, in a zombie state, and it's just getting into medical and induced kind of comas because of it, and they don't know how to stop it.
It's a very, very big deal, and what it is the regulators. What happens is spice, for those who don't know, is a synthetic, like JJ said, form of marijuana that is sold and has been sold in convenience stores. And because it's not marijuana, it's a synthetic marijuana. And so what happens is the regulators get together, and they finally changed this, but not the regulators, but the state Senate would get together and make that spice illegal.
Right.
But then the spice makers would change one little component of it and then resell it in convenience stores. And the kids go in and buy it, and it's just a huge deal right now.
How would you go about trying to control something?
I think
like
what they
that?
did.
You can't. The drug war has been going on for 40 years, and they're losing.
Yeah,
you can't control it. So obviously, you just need to work instead of working on the enforcement level.
Right.
Work on the helping people who want to get off it. But they don't do that. They're just like, no, we're just going to keep passing law after law after law, criminalizing it instead of helping them see what's wrong with it, and actually, so they won't walk around like zombies in Tampa.
Right.
So there's another drug that I was talking to a friend of mine who's a firefighter, and I forget the name of it. But it is a form of meth, but it has the.
You talking about the crocodile? You talking about? Is that what it's
Speaking
called?
Of
Crocodile?
Was it?
Are you talking about the crocodile?
Maybe
making
that's
people's
it.
limbs fall off. And
No,
things
it's
like
not.
that?
It's not that. It's a synthetic drug. It's rampant here in Florida, in Ohio, and Texas. Flocka. It's called Flocka.
Oh yeah.
It says it's also called the Disney.
Yeah, and Flocka
Disney.
is a form of meth, but the I guess the results or the whatever it's like PCP. And so he was saying that he went on, my friend the firefighter was saying he went on a call the other night and somebody was on Flocka, and police would shoot him with a taser gun, and the taser gun wouldn't even have an effect on him. I mean, he was so out of his head that they would shoot him up with a taser gun and he just sort of like brush it off.
Yeah.
So it's again, you said the war on drugs, always going to be something coming up with a different chemical component that's going to.
Yeah, there's always going to be something. I just don't know what. I mean, I know there's no answer or fix, but you wish that there was something that you could, I don't know, to control it or to make it less harmful.
Well, I don't know about less
effective.
harmful. I mean,
you know what I mean? I don't know.
Right. I think that the idea is to decriminalize it.
Yes. Because
And
if you decriminalize it, then you can actually have the FDA say, okay, we're going to allow it in this form so that it's not as potent, it's not as terrible for you,
right?
But you can still get your hands on it. Because if you take it out of the shadows, out of the black market, like we do with alcohol, before alcohol was back in the 20s during Prohibition, alcohol was crazy. It was like 120 proof. I mean, it would knock you on your butt.
You're right.
Now people are fine getting stuff that's 5%, beer.
Yeah.
They're okay with that. If you did that with hardcore drugs, same thing, you wouldn't have as bad. You would still have a problem, but it wouldn't be as bad, and you'd be able to control it more.
Jamie dropping knowledge. And that's, the thing about as a recovering drug addict, and heroin was my drug of choice, but before the OxyContins of the world, when you go in and you get a OxyContin from in pill form, what dose it is, right? When I go in the street and buy,
you have no idea what you're getting.
I have no idea what potency it is, and every time it's like Russian roulette. That we're shooting up.
You are a gambling man.
Do we have one more really quick? We have to end this show.
No, she doesn't.
No.
We don't.
I'm only told I have one.
You only told you have one.
You should always come prepared, JJ, but that's okay.
That's why you got to follow Ben and just keep going until somebody cuts you off.
Yep. This crocodile thing that she mentions is pretty disgusting, though. Go research crocodile.
So we only have a minute left, unfortunately.
So we didn't have time for it anyway.
Don and Teddy. Don called and he thinks the Cuban embargo is a very bad idea. And there are people who agree. Don, sorry we didn't get you on the air. Teddy, the epidemic around here is Xanax, Mama's little helper, and not synthetic weed. I agree with you, Teddy. And sorry we didn't have time to get you on the air, but we have to wrap up another edition
of
the world famous Miggs and Swig show.
I mean, you can pretty much say world famous for anything, right? World famous Cuban hot dogs.
Look, we are the best. We are the best radio show. We are the best radio show on TV.
Yes, we are.
On TV.
On TV.
You're not going to want to miss our show, though. There's a slight change next week. We won't be on Sunday. We'll be on Saturday from 5 to 7. All of us together coming at you live from the DeBartolo Family Foundation Gala. So you make sure you want to tune in and listen to all of our red carpet celebrity moments. I'm sure I won't, and Lisa won't have a chance to get a word in edgewise with anybody. Dawn and Swig over here will take care of that. But we all will be there, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to get all gussied up. We'll take some photos, post some videos online. So make sure you follow at Miggs and Swig everything, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can now follow at Cletus the RV, which is Ben's new baby, and keep up with him and his road trips.
Yeah, Cletus the RV. Anyways, we want to thank Allison for coming into the show today and filling in. Glad that there were no ulterior motives and you weren't coming to report back to the other high-ranking officials here at Cox Media, but you were great. Appreciate, I'm sure.
Thanks to Showtime, thanks to Laser Spine, thanks to Any Car USA and our friends at South Tampa Dermatology for being such great sponsors for our show.
All
thanks
those
to
peeps.
Mom and Dad.
Happy Easter, everybody.
Happy
Hope you
Easter,
have a great week. This is Miggs and Swig.
That's it.